Hello guys, welcome back. In the previous videos, I think you have seen the introduction of EC2 as well as Elastic Beanstalk as well as Lightsail. These are the compute services, right? What are the leftover compute service? We have Lambda. That we're gonna analyze it in this video. So, what do we gonna learn in this video? In this video, let us learn about Lambda. So let me write the thing that is Lambda. So Lambda, Lambda. So what do we gonna learn in this video? Lambda. So can I ask a developer, tell me generally about what is a function? So I just asked a developer that tell me about what is a function in your words. Then he immediately responds to me and he told to me that function function is nothing but this developer response, not my response. What does this developer told me? It is a piece of code. What is the function? A piece of code. Piece of code or steps of code. A piece, or else he said to me it is a piece of code or it is a steps of code where this code can be reusable. This code can be reusable. This code can be reusable. He said to me that this code can be reusable and recallable any number of times. This code can be reusable or recallable any number of times. This is the response that was provided by a developer. So, can you execute this function? So now the question is, I asked the developer, can you execute this function without having a server or any application? Without, now I asked the developer that without having any server, without having server or application, without having server or application, can you run this code? Then immediately he said, no. Then immediately he said, no, we cannot run a piece of code without having an application or a server. So now developer asked me that, is there any service in AWS? Is there any service in AWS which can able to provide me, a possibility to run my code without having server or application? Now this developer asked me what the question is there any service in AWS possible where that service can run my application without having server or application? That service can run my code without having server or application. Yes. Now immediately I said to him that yes, there is a service. What is the service? He asked me. The service name is Lambda. The service name is Lambda. Now he asked me, sir, do I run my code? The developer asked me, do I run my code in this Lambda directly? Yeah, you can run your code directly in this Lambda by using functions. What? By using functions, you can run your code directly. Now, he asked me, do I need to maintain? The developer asked me that does he need to maintain any servers for using this Lambda? For that, I provided an answer. What is that? No, you do not need to maintain any servers. This because this lambda is a serverless. This lambda is a serverless. That means what, sir? Whatever the thing maintaining will be taken care by AWS. You do not need to take care about servers for maintaining, for using this Lambda service. That means what? We do not need to maintain servers for using this Lambda service. Okay. Now let's have another question. What do we can able to create in this Lambda? So what do we can able to create in this Lambda? We can able to create what in this Lambda? We can able to create what? Functions. We can able to create what? Functions in this Lambda. In this Lambda, you can able to create what? Functions. Okay. So you are creating, we are creating the functions using Lambda, right? So what do we call these functions? We call these functions as Lambda functions. We call these functions as Lambda functions. Since we are creating these in Lambda, we call these functions as Lambda functions. Okay. You can write these functions. Sir, can I create these functions using any programming language? Yes. You can write these Lambda functions. That is nothing but your piece of code or else your steps of code using any supporting language. Sir, can you provide some examples? Yeah, of course. I'm interested more on Python. Is this Lambda providing me the Python code for running? Yeah, it is supporting me this Python language for running functions. I know .NET, sir. Does it providing me the service? Yeah. I know Java. Does it provide me the service? Yeah. And so on, multiple things. In multiple languages, this Lambda supports us to write the functions and execute us in serverless mode. In serverless mode. Serverless means what, sir? We do not need to take care about servers while using this Lambda function, while executing this Lambda function. Now, we know that Lambda is a serverless and we can able to create functions in it. Who can use these functions? Who can use this Lambda in real life, sir? In real life, this can be used by developers because they know mostly writing code, right? Yeah. For doing automations, who gonna use this Lambda? Architects, AWS architects. AWS architects gonna use this for what? Automation. For automation, AWS architects also use this. These are only two examples. There are multiple use cases are there. I just provided mainly mostly used use cases. That's it. Okay. Now let's say I have a company. I have a company. All my servers, let's say I have a company and all my servers which are running 24/7. Let's say I have multiple servers. This is one server and this is another server, and in that way I have, let's say, multiple servers. How many servers? Multiple servers. For maintaining my company, I'm just maintaining multiple servers and so on. I just put so on here. So now what happens is these all are servers. Assume these all are servers. Okay. These all are running 24/7. These all are running 24/7. Now, after a deep analysis, I got a point. I just noticed a point that my clients, whoever the clients that I have, whoever the clients, whoever the clients, those I have, when they're asking after a deep analysis, I get to notice that whatever the servers that I'm providing, those servers were accessed, those servers were accessed only between 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. only. So when they're accessing from 9 p.m. and till 6 a.m. From 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. my website is active. After that, nobody is accessing my website. So now I'm even getting paid for other than this time because my servers are running 24/7, right? Yes. My servers, whatever the servers do I have, whatever the servers do I have, these servers which are running 24/7. So that's why I'm getting paid for 24/7. But still, my clients are accessing my servers from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. only. So what is my need case? I need to stop usage of all my servers. Stop activating all my servers at 9 p.m. And again, I need to start all my servers at 9 a.m. So for this, is there any service in AWS available? Is there any service in AWS available so that that service can automatically run and stops my servers at 9 p.m. and starts my servers again at 6 a.m. Is there any service available? Yes. The answer is yes. What is that service? Lambda. You can write script in this lambda. You can write script in this lambda function and you can run it and you can schedule it by using scheduling and you can schedule the start time by using what? By using scheduling, you can schedule the start time. What is the start time of my services? At 6 a.m. I need to start my services and I need to schedule, right? When do I need to stop my services? That also I need to schedule, right? So I need to schedule again. When do I need to stop? I need to stop at 9 p.m. For that also I need to create a scheduling. Whenever the time encounters, it leads to triggering of my lambda functions. For these two, I need to write what? Lambda functions. For these two schedules, I need to write the lambda functions so that all my servers which are present, they got automatically starts whenever 6 a.m. is triggered. Whenever 6 a.m. happens, Then my Lambda functions got triggered during this schedule and all my servers got activated. That means launched. Whenever I got 9 p.m., whenever I got schedule time as 9 p.m., then my Lambda function again triggers the stop event and then it stops all my servers. So now, based on this, we can even schedule our tasks. We can even schedule our task and automatically and automatize our tasks, and we can automate our tasks by using scheduler and Lambda functions. Okay. So now you can tell me, sir, how many states does this EC2 has? How many states does this EC2 has? So let's write it aside. Okay. What are the states of EC2? EC2 have multiple states. EC2 have multiple states. There are many states. There are many states are there for EC2. What are the states? While we are creating, there is a launching state. While we are creating, there is a launching state. After creating, we can even stop that, right? So there is a state called stop state. There is a state called stop state. After stopping, can I able to start it? Yes. Is there any state for it? Yeah. The state for it is start state. After starting, can I able to reboot it? Yeah. For that, we have reboot state. And after restarting, can I terminate this? That means, can I delete this EC2? Can I delete this EC2 permanently? Yeah. For that, we have termination, terminate state. These are the totally how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 states that EC2 have. What is that? While we are launching, the EC2 will present in which state? Launching state. And whenever we stop the running EC2, then it will be in stop state. Whenever we start it, then it will comes under starting state, and whenever we reboot it, it comes under reboot state. Whenever we delete it or kill it or terminate it, then it reaches to terminate state. Okay, sir. Understood the states of EC2. And I even understood what schedules. Based on schedules, events triggering, I understood. And even I understood Lambda functions triggering based on scheduling. I understood, sir. And I understood the states of EC2. Sir, can you provide me where this Lambda function is used by using another example? Yeah. So now let's say I have a company and many AWS architects are present in my company. Now, for practicing purpose, they are creating multiple EC2 instances every time. They are creating multiple EC2 instances. So I have given a task that you can create multiple EC2 instances today. You can learn how to create multiple EC2 instances as a task I given to my architects. Now what they did is they're just creating the EC2 instances. So does it leads to billing to me whenever they start creating it? Does it leads to billing to me whenever they are on? Yes, it leads to billing to me. So what is my task? I need to stop the created EC2 instance. I need to stop the created EC2 instance. So now let's say I have 10 AWS architects. They are creating one by one whole night. So do I wake up whole night and do I stop one by one whole the time, whole the day night? No, I am not doing that. Then how do you stop those EC2 instances, sir, in AWS? We can use this Lambda functions. We can use this Lambda functions in this case to stop the EC2 instance. How do you stop, sir? Based on the events previously, based on scheduling, you stopped. Based on the scheduling, you triggered the Lambda functions. Now you are triggering your Lambda functions. Now you are triggering your Lambda functions based on event. Based on what? Based on event, you are triggering your Lambda functions. Based on events, you are triggering your Lambda functions. So since we know the states of EC2 instances, my whenever my students launching my whenever my students launching my EC2 instance, then that EC2 instance must enter into which state? Launching state, right? My EC2 instance enter into launching state. So since launching is an event, whenever launching happens, I can stop immediately, or else I can even stop immediately by using termination, right? I immediately stop by using termination. So whenever launching EC2 instance happens, launching EC2 happens, then what I do? So for that EC2 instance, I just need to terminate. I just need to what to do? I just need to terminate by using this script. So based on this event generated, I need to write. So based on this event generated, I need to write a lambda. I need to write a lambda function. I need to write lambda function for what? For termination. For terminating whatever the launched EC2 instance. So how it works, sir? Whenever the event, what is the event? Launching event happens. Launching of EC2 instance is an event, right? So whenever that event happens, this lambda function got triggered. Whatever the lambda code that you written was triggered, and whatever the launched EC2 instance will be terminated based on the script that you written in the lambda function. The created EC2 instance will be terminated. So I can stop only by using immediate termination of the event to the launched EC2 instance. Is there any service which can terminate the instance whenever the instance launched event is generated? Yes, we can do this by using Lambda function in AWS. Whatever launch event is generated, whatever launching event is generated, then I can create a rule. So I can create, whenever launching event is generated, I can create a rule. I can create a rule. I can create a rule to terminate. For what? To terminate my instances by using any one of the programming language. I can write the rule in the form of lambda function. Whenever this launching event happens, then just do termination. For this termination, I just want to write a rule in any one of the language. How do I write this lambda function? By using any one of the supporting language, right? That is Python or .NET or Java, whatever the thing may be. I can write, I'm interested in Python, so I write my lambda function in Python. So whenever this launching event is triggered, so I will invoke this lambda function. So where this lambda function will terminate whatever the launched EC2 instance, what are the instances that are launched. So based on this event triggering also, this lambda function will be based on the event triggering. Whenever the event happens, then this lambda function got triggered. We call it as event triggering. So based on this event triggering also. So based on what? Based on events triggering, based on this events triggering, this lambda function will be invoked. This lambda function will be invoked, and whatever the task that we return in this lambda function will be performed. In this particular example, we just deleted or terminated whatever the launch EC2 instance that will be performed. So by using lambda function, how many ways we can execute is by using event triggering, and by using scheduling also. By using scheduling also, we are performing our tasks, right? By using schedule also, we're performing our task. These are the two ways that we are going to use for, these are the two ways that we are going to use whenever we want to use our lambda function. These are the two ways, right? We're going to using. Yeah. So in this video, I hope you understood the basics, theoretical basics of how and when do we use this lambda function with good real-time examples. In future videos, I'll provide you a detailed lab explanation on real-time examples. These examples, how to perform these tasks using lambda functions, writing a piece of code. So I hope this video is understanding to you. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye. Thanks for watching again.